Welcome to my lecture series, A Rabbi Encounters the Universe. Lecture 3, Can I be a philosophical scientist? Can one mix philosophy and science? There was a group that said no. There was a group that was very active in Vienna in the middle of the 20th century, known as the Vienna Circle, also known as the logical positivists or the logical empiricists. And they taught that there's only two kinds of knowledge that we could have. There's logical knowledge, things we know just by thinking about the universe, like mathematics, logic, something can be both true and false, definitions, a triangle has three sides, or the classical example, a bachelor is an unmarried man. And then there's empirical knowledge, things we know by looking out into the universe, by studying it. The sky is blue. Rocks fall to the ground. The sun rises in the east according to our perspective and sets in the west. And this is empirical knowledge, but there are all kinds of things we cannot know. We cannot know about God, or metaphysics, or ethics, or aesthetics, beauty. These are questions that, according to the logical positivists, we can't even answer. Ludwig Wittgenstein, probably the most brilliant philosopher of the mid-20th century, said, about that which we cannot speak, it is best that we remain silent. And so, if you're just going to go with science, you cannot know ethics. Another philosopher who lived several hundred years before, David Hume, famously said, you cannot learn an ought from an is. You cannot learn ought, what you ought to do, what's right and wrong, what's ethical, from what is, from science. So according to this group, there were all kinds of things that we just simply can't know about, and yet they're important to us as human beings. Now, Ludwig Wittgenstein gave up being a philosopher for a number of years. He went off and became a school teacher. In all honesty, he was a better philosopher than a school teacher. And fortunately for philosophy, he came back. And he rejected the whole logical positivist approach and came up with a new approach to philosophy that he called shared language. Shared language says within the context of a community, there are things we can talk about and that we have to talk about. We have to talk about God and ethics and the soul and right and wrong and beauty. And these things all make sense within the context of a community. He said there's no such thing as a private language. Language is shared. And if I talk to other people about what's right and wrong within the context of a community, that makes sense. So I believe that the Vienna Circle was wrong. I believe it is possible to be a philosophical scientist.